Hi, my name is Paul Friedman, founder of the Marriage Foundation. And this particular video, called 7 Tips to Have a Happy Marriage, makes me happy because I'm not dealing with people's problems, which require a whole different approach. Even though our approach is completely different anyway, it's very positive, and those of you who are subscribers know that. And those of you who are not yet subscribers, you're in for a real treat. So, 7 tips for a happy marriage. This is great stuff. This is important stuff. It doesn't matter whether you're a woman, a man, whether you're a newlywed, engaged, or looking for your soulmate. And by the way, we have courses for those who are looking for their soulmates, courses for premarital, and courses for those who are having trouble with their marriage. This video is great for everybody. It's so positive. So let's get into this, okay? Number 1, the very first goal, and I'm going to save the last as the most important. I know I messed up the wording on that, but you know what I mean. The best for last. Okay, number 1, define your marriage by its goals. What does that mean? Most people get married as a next step. It's sort of an assumed thing. It's the craziest when you think about it, that you already know how to get married. You already know what marriage is about, and you're just going to get married. So no one has any goals when they get married. Vague, oh, I'm going to love you forever, and like that, but nothing that is real. You have to make it real. Your marriage is a very real thing. And if you don't know what it is for, it'll be like getting on a sailboat without a tiller. You won't know where you're going. So there are 2 primary goals. I call them the promises of marriage that are already part of the marriage deal. Number 1, you get married in order to be happy. And not just happy on your wedding day. You get married in order to be happier every day of your life. Happier than the day before. When you know how to drive your marriage, when you know what it's constructed with and how it operates, not only is that possible, but it's what happens. I call it ever increasing happiness till the end of your life. That should be part of your marriage, but it has to be a goal for your marriage so that it is part of every decision that you make before you act. The second goal, the second promise of marriage. Look, when you get a car holds certain promises. It'll start when you turn the key. The lights will go on when you turn on the lights. The accelerator will make it go. It'll get you where you're going. Same with a marriage. It's a vehicle. And the second purpose for marriage is love. You learn how to love unconditionally in a marriage so you can enjoy this perfect gift of love. I call it ever-expanding love. Unconditional love has to be your goal, has to tailor your actions, or you're just moving around and you're not getting anywhere. And then the mundane world will cave in on you and you'll have a lousy marriage. So this is the first tip for having a happy marriage. Define your marriage. Why did you get married? And those are the 2 reasons that you should use. These are universal. Number 2, learn about marriage. We go to school for much of our life. We learn how to read and write, very important. We learn how to do algebra, important for a few people and not for me. We learn history or social studies, whatever it is, but no one teaches us about marriage. Where do we learn about marriage? Think about this. Where did you learn about marriage? You didn't learn it from your parents. You didn't learn it from your neighbors. You learned it from the movies. You learned it from TV. That's how we learn about marriage. Now, I started teaching these Hollywood types how to be married. Do you know, I used to be a divorce mediator around the turn of the century. It was that long ago. This century. I was a divorce mediator. And I got all of my clients from the mainstream counselors, the marriage counselors. And I even spoke at Second Saturday Divorce Support Group for Women and made friends there. And I got tired of helping people get a divorce. So I said, what is going on here? I have to unravel this mystery of marriage. And I discovered that the true teachings that apply to marriage, are realistic about marriage, are not at all included in Western therapies. In fact, they go the other way. And so I started helping people save their marriages. And these people from Hollywood drive down to see me. I was in San Diego. And I get them on track. They were astounded. Look, these are people that you go to see. They were coming to see me. Very famous people, screenwriters, actors, directors. And I helped them. Now, of course, the Marriage Foundation was formed and we have courses for that. But the common denominator was no one knew how to be married. We're not taught how to be married. You have to learn. Now, one good way is to subscribe, obviously, and listen to these videos. Another way, get one of my books or whatever. If your marriage is in trouble, you got to go further, but you got to learn about marriage. You'll be happy when you do, because it won't be like getting into a high performance car and wrapping it around a tree. You'll know how to have fun with your marriage. Marriage is meant to deliver. Number 3, learn about yourself. Of course, as a human being, but also as your biological gender. Because there are huge differences in the two genders that impact your psychology. And you're married, most of you are married to someone of the other gender, so you need to learn about yourself in relation to your spouse. You have to know what's up with yourself, how your biology is affecting you, how it's affecting them. This is very important stuff. It is part about learning about marriage. Number 4, learn about your spouse. Based on their biology, there are specific things. I'll give you an example. A woman is more tied to her heart than a man. Huge difference. If you're the man, you recognize that you don't have the same equipment as your wife in here. You don't have the easy access to compassion, for instance. You're not battling emotions like a woman is. As a woman, you know what emotions can do to you. You don't know enough about them to subdue them. And in a marriage, you should be controlling your mind. You should master your mind because it belongs to you. So understanding your own biology and how it affects you. And then number 4, learn about the biology of your spouse. Number 5, I'm going to say it. You're going to go, oh yeah, right. And I'm going to tell you that it is not only possible, but it is meant to be. We are perverse We really are, and we're not taught this. Number 5 is always be happy, no matter what happens to you. This goes back to the relationship between you as a soul, your body, and your mind. Understanding it so that you can master it, you are meant to be living in joy. And I'm not kidding you. Nothing should ruffle your feathers. Nothing. Nothing should get your goat. And when it happens that we're triggered by something, we should recover fast. Not in 10 minutes, but in no more than 10 seconds. We should remind ourselves, wait a minute, what's going on here? I'm a soul. So workaround that I'm giving you now to utilize, I'm a soul. I can't be burned. I can't be drowned. I can't be shot or fried. I can't be hurt. I can't be diseased. I'm not my body. I'm the soul. Identify with yourself as God intended. And that's the truth. And if you're happy, your spouse will be happy. You know what it's like when you're around somebody who's miserable. You get miserable. Those are called psychological skunks. You don't want to be one of those. You want to be the light in your marriage. You want your spouse to see you as happy, so they're happy, so they can be open with you, so their love will flow, your love will flow, and everything will be cool. Number 6. This is important. Always be understanding, no matter what. Your spouse is not perfect. I hope I'm not the first one to bring this to your attention, but they're not perfect. So what? Neither are you. But it's so easy for us to see the flaws of others, especially those who we know so well. No one is known by you as well as your spouse. You know your spouse better than your spouse knows your spouse. This is true because the mind is tricky. It doesn't want you to know you have any flaws. You know, I'll tell you a story about that. I have been working on myself for many, 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 many years. And I had there was a particular monk who was my mentor, spiritually. And one day we were driving in Arizona. And I took advantage of us, just the two of us driving. We were heading for Sedona. And I said, brother, I just brought it up casually. Would you tell me what my greatest flaw is? He said, no. I said, come on, brother. I promise I will pay attention. And he goes, all right, I'll tell you when we get over to those mountains over there, which was about 20 minutes away. So for 20 minutes, because I know how minds operate, I'm going, okay, do not resist, do not react, do not resist, do not react. I was saying that to myself inwardly. We get to the mountains, I go, okay, brother, what's my greatest flaw? He told me. And I go, but, and then I couldn't remember what he said. This is how powerful the mind is when it comes to your survival. It's driven by the drive to survive in the body. And we have to be really aware of that. And so it's very, very important to be very understanding of your spouse, to not expect them to be perfect, because you're not perfect. Number 7, this is the best for last. This, I'm feeling tingly already. Understand what love is by learning how to love unconditionally. Now, I'm going to give you a schematic, but it's intellectual. When you experience it, you will be very happy that you're paying attention. You cannot manufacture love. Don't bother looking up love, because the common definition of love is retarded. It is that it is an emotion that is increased like. We all know that that is only true when you apply it to a new car or a beautiful dress. Love is that experience that you have that is its own thing. Most people experience it at weddings. You go to a wedding, there's this moment when your heart opens. Your mind, though, doesn't like it. It tries to tell you something you had to think about or something. The mind is mundane. It's material. Love is divine. It is God. You are a soul. You're part of God. You're a soul who became a human being by taking a body on and a mind, a mortal mind. Then you became either a man or a woman, and then you became either a husband or wife. But as a soul, you were all love. As a soul, you still are all love. But moving that love down the chain to where it belongs in your marriage, so that your marriage is based upon love, so that your marriage is evolving with love, takes managing your mind by first subduing it, mastering it. And then you are in the process of learning how to let that love come through you into your marriage to the one person who chose to love you voluntarily. All the other loves of your life, your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your kids, love you because of the situation. It's compulsory love. But the love that you and your spouse have is 100% voluntary. You have to keep taking it up to the highest level. You have to learn how to love unconditionally. Only then are you experiencing your marriage as it is meant to be. And you don't have to achieve that in order to experience that, but you have to be in the right thinking and define your habits and put yourself on the right track of marriage to have it. Can it be done? Absolutely. The Marriage Foundation primarily helps people who are struggling in their marriage, on the verge of divorce many times. And what we do is we show them how to bring it all together so that they are not just saving their marriage, because as bad a shape as you're in, it's still like that high-performance automobile. You just don't know how to drive it. And when you learn and you're given proper instruction and guidance and you get it, oh my God, that's when the world of marriage opens up to you. That's when you really can experience marital bliss. I am Paul Friedman. I founded the Marriage Foundation. Visit our website, subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment. Thank you for spending time with me. God bless you and take care.